Hi everyone, welcome to the English Fluency course day 40. Today in this video, I'm going to explain active voice and passive voice in detail. Let's start our video. As you know, when we change a sentence from active voice to passive voice, we have to follow certain rules. Here, I've written 5 rules which you need to follow when you change a sentence from active voice to passive voice. The first rule is subject in the active voice becomes object in the passive voice. You can see here subject is he. What is the subject in this sentence? He. What is the object in this sentence? A car. This is subject. This is object. And this is verb. Bought is verb. So we identified subject and object and verb, right? So as per rule, the subject in the active voice becomes the object in the passive voice, and the object in the active voice becomes the subject in the passive voice. Subject becomes object, object becomes subject, right? Next, appropriate be form should be used. Appropriate be form should be used in the passive voice. What is the appropriate be form? We need to identify the tense of the given sentence in the active voice. We need to identify the tense of the given sentence in the active voice. So let's identify the tense of the given sentence in the active voice. Bought. Okay. Bought. By. What is the past tense of by? Bought. And past participle form is bought. By. Bought. Bought. First form of the verb is by, and the second form of the verb is bought, and third form of the verb is bought. By, bought, bought. So what is this then? Whether it is a V2 or V3. This is V2 form, because immediately after the subject we don't use V3 form. Okay, we don't use V3 form immediately after the subject. Here immediately after the subject bought is there. So we can conclude that the verb is in past form. So the given sentence in the active voice is past tense. So appropriate be form means here the be form of the past tense we have to use when we change that sentence into passive voice. Since this sentence is in past tense, we need to write the be forms of the past tense. So here object became subject as per rule, a car. After that, appropriate be form should be used. That means the be form of the past tense we have to use. The be forms of the past tense are was and were. Was and were. Since the subject is singular, a car is singular. That's why we need to write was. If the subject is plural, we need to write were. Is it singular or plural? Yes, you are right. It is singular. That's why we have to write was. If it is plural, cars, then what we have to write? We have to write were. Since the subject in the passive voice is singular, we have to write was. After that, third form of the verb we need to write. Third form of the verb we have to write. V3 form should be used after be form. So object became subject. After that, appropriate be form we used. After that, the third form of the verb. What is the third form of the verb? Let's see here. By, bought, bought. So third form of the verb is bought. And preposition by we have to use. Okay. After that, subject becomes object. Subject is he, and in the passive voice it becomes him. Objective case we have to write him. If the subject is I, in the objective case it becomes me. He becomes him. She becomes her. they becomes them, and you remains as you. So let's read the sentence once again. He bought a car. He bought a car. We identify the subject. Subject is the doer of the action. Next, action word is there. That is in the V2 form, and receiver of the action, a car. Object. He bought a car. When we change this sentence into passive voice, a car was bought by him. Very simple. So, what are the steps we followed? First of all, in the active voice, we identify the subject, we identify the verb, and we identify the object. Object becomes subject. So, a car. After that, appropriate be form should be used. In order to write the appropriate be form, we need to identify the tense of the given sentence in active voice. And we identify the tense. The tense is simple past tense. V2 form is there. That's why it is simple past tense. And we know the be forms of simple past tense, was and were. And when to write was and when to write were also we know, right? When the subject is singular, we have to write was. When the subject is plural, we have to write were. So, a car. Since the subject is singular, we wrote was. A car was bought. V3 form, we have to write the passive voice. Next, preposition by, and he becomes him in the passive voice. Okay, this is assertive sentence. He bought a car is assertive sentence. So, for assertive sentence structure, okay, when we change an assertive sentence into passive voice, structure will be subject plus be form plus V3 plus by plus object. That is the structure when we change an assertive sentence into passive voice. Now let's see the next example. Did he buy a car? What is this sentence? Did he buy a car? So the first sentence and second sentence not same. If you observe, he bought a car is an assertive sentence, but did he buy a car is not an assertive sentence. Did he buy a car? Did he buy a car? Did he buy a car is not an assertive sentence. What is this then? This is question. Did he buy a car? I am asking. This is a question. So what kind of question? Is it a no question or WH question? Did he buy a car? We can say yes or no. So that's why these kind of questions are called yes or no questions, because we can answer this question by saying yes, he bought. No, he didn't buy. So we can call these kind of questions yes or no questions, right? Did he buy a car? Question starts with helping verb. Question starts with helping verb in yes or no question. So did he buy a car is yes or no question. When the given sentence in active voice is an yes or no question, and the passive voice also begins with the helping verb. Okay, here helping verb is was. Okay, be form of the past tense. Why we have to write the be form of the past tense? Because the given sentence in active voice is past tense. Did he buy? Did plus buy bought. So the given question is in past tense. Since the question in the past tense, the passive voice also must be in the past tense. And questions start with be form or helping verb. Here started with helping verb. Did he buy a car? Active voice is a certain question. And in the same manner, passive voice also must be a certain question. And you know, questions start with helping verb or be form. So, did he buy a car? This sentence, when we change this sentence into passive voice, okay, we need to start with the be form first. Here, subject plus be form plus V3. Because the given sentence in active voice is assertive. But here, the same structure we cannot follow here. We cannot write subject here. Active voice is a question and passive voice also must be a question. That's why we have to start this passive sentence with the be form. Appropriate be form. The given sentence in active voice past tense. That's why the be form of the past tense only we have to write here. Was after that subject. Was car. Always we have to write the third form of the verb in the passive voice. Was car bought by him? Question mark. Active voice ends with question mark and passive voice also ends with question mark. Active voice is in past tense. Passive voice also must be in past tense. Active voice is yes or no question and the passive voice also must be in yes or no question. Right. Now let's see another kind of question. When did he buy a car? When did he buy a car? This is not yes or no question. This is a question, but this is not yes or no question. When did he buy a car? We cannot answer this question yes, no. We cannot answer this question by saying yes or no. That's why this question is not yes or no question. This is called WH question. What is this called? This is WH question. So when did he buy a car? And when we change this into passive voice, WH question remains WH as it is, when remains when, what remains what, and why remains why. Whatever it is there in the active voice, WH question will be remained as WH only, except who. When did he buy a car? Past tense. So the be form of the past tense we have to write. When was, after the subject, when was car, after that V3, right? Him. When was car bought by him? When did he buy a car is an active voice. When was car bought by him is passive voice. Now let's start with who. The sentence is who. Then how to change that sentence into passive voice. Who bought a car? Okay. Who bought a car? Who bought a car? Right? So this is a WH question. And if it is who, if it is who, and passive voice begins with by whom. By whom. Bought is past tense, right? So after that be form of the past tense was by whom was a car bought. This is passive voice. This is active voice. Who bought a car? Active voice. By whom was a car bought is in passive voice. So in this way, step by step, first you have to begin with the tenses. You have to identify the tenses. Okay, you need to identify whether it is present tense or past tense or future tense or present continuous tense or past continuous tense or future continuous tense or present perfect or past perfect or future perfect. You need to identify. There are 4 tenses which don't have be forms. What are they? Present perfect continuous tense, past perfect continuous tense, and future perfect continuous tense, and future continuous tense. So out of 12 tenses, 4 tenses have no be forms, which means we cannot change these sentences into passive voice. Okay friends, thank you so much for watching, and once again I request you all, if you are new to this, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you will receive the notifications in time. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next class. Until then, take care. Bye bye.